Welcome to Sunshine Art and Drawing. Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be comparing two erasable pens. The first one is the Pilot Frixion erasable pen. The second one is a Papermate Replay Premium erasable pen. Let's open these ones up and see how they go. So as I'm just getting these out of the packet, I just wanted to talk a little bit about erasable pens in general. They work with heat and friction. So the pen ink itself comes out black, but if you apply heat to it, it loses its colour and turns sort of a clear white colour. So you can't see it and you can draw over it. So let me just pop on focus and I will bring this up a bit closer so that you can see the Pilot pen. On the end is the Erasable ball, and the pen itself is a nice black solid plastic with a 0.7mm ballpoint pen, and a nice rubber grip makes it easy to hold. And the cap itself, nice and sturdy, clicks on well, doesn't fall off, so you're not going to have it like running around in your bag drawing on things and stuff like that. It also comes in a click pen. If you're a bit more like you like a sort of a clicky pen, you can get it in that as well. And this is the Papermate Replay. It's kind of a dark grey clear barrel, and 0.7mm again, and the eraser is on the end of the cap. There's a hole in it because of safety. In case a child swallows it, they need to still be able to breathe, so that's why the eraser has a hole through the centre. And the pen itself, it's quite sturdy, but it does feel a little bit lighter and cheaper than the Pilot, although the pen itself is a bit more expensive. And it doesn't have a rubber grip, but still has the 0.7mm nib, sort of ballpoint pen end. And I'm going to divide this page in half. So let me just grab a ruler and a pencil and let's just divide it in half. I used the pencil instead of the pen because I don't want to accidentally erase the title or anything like that. Just make it easier for you to see which one's which. So the left hand side is going to be the Pilot and the right hand side is going to be the Papermate. So first of all, let's just grab the pen straight out of the packet and see how it writes. So pop the lid on the end. The lid goes on the end nice and well, doesn't fall off, which is quite handy. But it also covers the little silver ball, so if you want to erase something you have to take the lid off the end. A little bit annoying, but if you got the clicky version of it, that wouldn't be an issue, you would just click it in. And the next one, just grab that and write with that. I didn't have any problem writing with them straight out of the packet, so you don't have to like scrub around on a scrap piece of paper just to get the ball moving. They work straight away, work perfectly, just like most gel ink pens. And I'm just showing you there that the cap fits on the end of the Papermate quite well, but on the Pilot it covers the erasable end, which is a little bit annoying. But out of both of them, I feel like the Pilot is probably like a more weighty, it feels a bit more sturdy. So I'm just going to scribble a bit in different sort of thicknesses and pressure and see if it's able to erase all of those lines. I needed to go over this about 3 times with the eraser to get it to erase, and it also shook the camera a little bit, as you can see, because I was pressing so hard to try and get it to erase. Which is kind of common because you need to press hard to create the friction so that you create the heat to erase the ink. So let's pop that to the side and grab the Papermate and do the same thing. So I'm pressing hard and then pressing softly, and I just want to see if anything like that changes it. So you can pop the lid on the end of the pen and erase and then flip it around and draw again, which is a little bit more handy with the Papermate. And that hole in the center is a little bit annoying, but I guess you have to have that if you're going to have it on the cap. That might be why Pilot didn't put it on the cap, because they wanted it to be a ball without a hole in it. And here I'm just going to write at the bottom here Papermate, and then I'm going to grab the eraser for the Pilot and I'm going to try and erase it. And it worked. And I did the same thing, so I grabbed the Pilot pen, I wrote Pilot over here, and then I grabbed the eraser off of the Papermate and erased it, and it erased fine. So the erasers on each end are swappable. And here I'm just going to draw a sort of a diamond shape, but I'm going to press quite hard and put a lot of ink down so that you can see, even if you've gone over the same spot plenty of times, and just let it dry a little bit, see if it still erases. So once I've done that for both, I'm just going to grab the eraser off the Pilot and try and erase that Pilot ink. I'm just going to do half of it so you can kind of see how detailed you can get the erasing, which is quite good. So you can use it for say thinning out thick lines, or sort of taking away sort of scratchy lines. If you've drawn something and you've got sort of more scratchy lines, you can take those away. Yeah, and it was making the camera shake having to press so hard to erase. So let's pop the focus on. I'll bring it up nice and close and you can see how it erased. There's still some little specks of ink on the Pilot side. I think that's because you have to press quite hard to erase it, and I didn't want to shake the camera too much. And the same with the Papermate. The Papermate erased a little bit better, and I'm not sure why. I think it's because the ink is different colours. The Pilot ink is a bit darker, and the Papermate ink is a bit lighter. So I'm just going to do a little sketchy drawing with each of the pens, just to show that you can draw with them. The original reason I bought these pens is because I wanted to test to see if you could use it as a replacement for a pencil. So if you're like drawing or sketching on the run, you can just take just this pen and a sketchbook or some paper, and you don't have to take a pencil and an eraser and a bunch of other stuff. You can just sketch with this and erase your lines as you go. So I just drew a drink bottle that was on my desk and the lamp that was on my desk. Just a quick little bit of drawing. Also, they do smudge. So if you're left-handed, you might find as you're drawing you smudge your own writing. So I'm just putting sort of the points of each pen as I'm going. Both of them smudge, so left-handed you might want to test these ones out or write in a different way. The lid covers over the ball. The other thing is the Pilot ink is a lot smoother and less scratchy than the Papermate. The Papermate ink is slightly more scratchier. I don't know whether that's because the ink is lighter or not. And here I'm just going to grab some water because I wanted to test for water solubility. I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do watercolour, that the ink would stay, but it's not water soluble. So I did one straight away as I drew it, and then I let it dry a little bit. I grabbed the hairdryer, put it on cool, and just dried off the ink a little bit, and then tried again. It stayed a little bit darker, but it's definitely water soluble, and the greyish kind of colour spreads. So I don't think it would work very well for watercolour. So let's pop it in the freezer and see what happens after you freeze it for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to pop the focus back on and bring it up close and show you. The ink returns if you put it in the freezer. So as you can see, the little scratches that I did returned. And I'm just going to show you what happens if you put a hot hairdryer against it. This is what I mean by the ink goes invisible if you heat it up. So I'm heating it up with the hairdryer just to show this effect quickly and on camera. But you could do the same thing, just putting it out in the sun. So just watch out if you draw with this ink, leave it in your car or somewhere hot, the ink will disappear. So let me just bring this up close, and as you can see the ink turns white. So I had a thought of an experiment. So I quickly grabbed a piece of cardboard and I wrote on the bottom of the cardboard, and then I took some acrylic paint and I painted a swatch at the top. So that's acrylic black paint at the top, and that's all dry. And I'm just going to write on the acrylic paint as well, just to see what happens when you dry it, whether the ink goes white or whether the ink goes clear. So as you can see, I've drawn on both. Let me grab my hairdryer and we'll test this out. So that's just some plain black acrylic paint. So as you can see, instantly it all just disappears because the heat of the hairdryer makes it disappear. So let's bring that up close and see if you can see that the ink went white. So I'm just bringing it up close so you can see that the ink went white. So this is just talking about the refills, just in case you're a bit interested in that. The refills themselves, they come in many colours. You're up to 12 colours for the Papermate and for the Pilot. They also come in different kinds, like the Pilot has a click pen, also some felt tip pens and a few other ones. And the refills are 2 different sizes, so they're not swappable. You can't just buy Pilot refills and put them in your Papermate. They're 2 different sizes, it won't work. So as you can see, I'm just trying to show you them there, and that's the prices as well. I think I paid $2 each for both of them, but they were on special, like on sale. So the average price seems to be about $3 for the Papermate and about $2 for the Pilot. And you can buy packs of refills so you can get a bunch. And here I'm just going to quickly sketch, like a little sketch. I was trying to think of what to draw, and I ended up drawing just like a little camera. I thought I would draw that for both. I wanted to draw the same image and just kind of show you what it's like to like sketch with them and how it looks. So these pens work really, really well for like just quick sketching. I thought that would be a really, really good idea for traveling and things like that. But you just got to watch out in a hot environment, the ink won't stay. So if you come home and you find that your drawing has disappeared, chuck your art work or your piece of paper in the freezer, that'll make it come back. But yeah, so I'm just sort of sketching a bit here and just seeing what it looks like. And as you can see, you can kind of work quite detailed. You can work slowly or you can draw quite quickly, and there's no issue there. Like if you draw fast, you don't end up with gaps in your work. The ink flows really well. And sort of you can really, really get detailed. The ink doesn't really run or anything like that. It does smudge a little bit if you're not careful, so just be a bit wary of that. But it was actually quite a fun little experiment to do. Out of the two, I would probably recommend the Pilot because one, it's cheaper. Two, the Pilot pen itself just feels sturdier, like a better pen. The rubber grip on the handle makes it great for like writing for a long period of time. And it just feels kind of more of a sturdy, more quality product. The Papermate, although I love Papermate, they do make some really good pens. The pen itself just feels really sort of weak. I don't know whether or not they just spent a lot of money on the ink and the pen itself was kind of an afterthought, but it's just the sort of the design of it feels kind of weak. So the one thing I don't understand is why you would refill these pens. The pens themselves are $2 to $3 each. I don't understand why you would refill a $2 pen. You could just, I don't know, buy another pen. But I guess if you like refilling, or if you want all the colours, you could buy the refills and just swap them in the one pen. So you don't have to carry one pen and, 5 or 6 refills, and you'd be sorted. And I'm just going to draw over here with the Papermate. I kind of wanted you to be able to see that the Papermate has a lighter grey colour to its ink. It's not as dark, and that also sort of disappointed me. I wanted like them to be a dark black ink. That's why I chose 2 black pens. And as you can see, if you go over or you draw too much, you can erase it and fix it up, which is really handy. But all in all, these pens are really interesting sort of experiment to do. So if you do see these on sale or something, grab one just to see what they're like if you're interested. But yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this sort of comparison. In my opinion, I'd probably recommend grabbing the Pilot out of the two. I just felt like it was a bit better quality. Thanks so much for watching my video on comparing the Pilot against the Papermate. Personally, I kind of like the Pilot, but feel free to try them both and see what you think. I hope you had a sunshiny day. Thanks so much for watching.